Hey y'all, this episode contains discussions of murder and sexual violence against children. This episode also contains obscene language that may be offensive to some listeners and may not be suitable for children under the age of 13. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey y'all, I'm Mary.
I'm Christina.
And this is
True Crime Down Yonder.
Let's Get It. We are actually recording a week after we recorded last.
Yeah?
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back. It is a wonderful day. It's in the middle of the day.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's getting towards the evening. But anyway, who cares?
I'm still trying to figure out when's a good time, what feels better for us to record. Like, should we record more?
I don't know. You know I'm a night owl.
I am
too,
though.
Yeah. But it's kind of hard for us to get together at night.
We have families.
We have issues. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're feeling good. We went to the grocery store, bought up everything Fruity Pebbles that we could find.
Hell yeah, we did. We got the ice
cream. They have Fruity Pebbles everything now, and we bought all that shit. Because we love some Fruity Pebbles.
Dude, yeah, I love Fruity Pebbles. And then you were amazed at the Kroger's over by my house.
Yeah, it's
which
super
a lot
nice.
of people, I guess a lot of people don't have Kroger's in some states. They've never even heard of it.
Yeah, well, Kroger's a pretty big chain, but I think they have different names.
Okay.
So they don't all go by Kroger. But anyway, they're not sponsoring us, so enough about them.
But anyways, we shopped there. They had some pretty good deals. And yeah, we're all energized and ready to go. And it is a workout just putting your groceries away. So anyways, do we have any other business that we need to talk about before we dive right on in?
Okay, well, the only thing I can think of is we have awesome news. We have been approved by Apple Podcasts.
Yes!
So I officially think that we're on all of the main streaming platforms for podcasts.
Yes, and that's the one thing that we were waiting on forever.
Yes, yeah.
So we are literally on any platform that your little heart desires.
Yeah, so if you have an Apple device and you can access Apple Podcasts, please, if you would, get on there and leave us a review. Hopefully a good one.
Yeah, I was about to say, even a good one.
A 5-star.
We can take
right now, there's only
criticism.
one review on there, and it's mine. So, and I didn't write anything because it's that's kind of tooting your own horn, but I did give it the 5-star review. But anyway, yeah, if you'll just jump on there and do that for us, we would so appreciate it.
For sure.
And of course, always like and share. Can't get enough of that.
Yeah, and we're going to get more episodes out there. It seems like the more episodes we do, the more listeners we are getting. So I guess that's how it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're on it, and it's actually motivating us to do more the more you guys listen.
Yeah, because sometimes we think, well, is anybody actually going to hear this? I mean, do we really have to go through all this? I mean, are we just talking to ourselves here? But we appreciate each and every listener we have. We really do.
Even if you just your time alone to even give us a chance is enough, and we're very gracious of it. So,
all right. So, what are we getting into today? You're covering today's case.
I am covering today's case.
What's going on?
So today, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, put your thinking caps on, and there's going to be some names that we're going to have to keep.
Sound like a teacher. Put your thinking caps on?
Yeah, put your thinking caps on because I'm telling you, it's going to throw you for a loop. This is the strange and twisted cases of Sharon Marshall, Michael Hughes, and Cheryl Comesso. 3 different people. They're all connected, and we're going to talk about how they're connected and who this fucked up individual was that
did bad things to them.
Awful things to them,
okay.
Especially Sharon Marshall, and we're going to get into that. And I'll be quite honest with you, there's so much to this case and to the story. And for the people that already know this story, they're going to already know that there's a lot to it. So this is going to have to be another 2-parter because we're not going to be able to cover it all in 1 hour.
We hate doing that to y'all. And so next I'm covering the next case. So after we finally wrap this up, and I'm determined, even though there's a lot to it as well, I'm determined I'm going to get it in one episode.
Well, I tried.
So we promise that we're not going to do this to you again for a while.
Not for a while. Yeah. And I really wasn't thinking about it when I chose to do this case. I originally wanted to do another case, which I'm eventually going to do, but the case that I was originally going to do today is just, it's a little bit too heart-wrenching for me to do yet. And so this one, it's not really too much better, truthfully. This story is almost like a real life crime drama. Like you would only see it. You
like
feel like
CSI.
You would only see it in the movies or it's some
Lifetime.
Yeah,
okay.
Especially Lifetime. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a Lifetime movie about this. I swear.
Oh, you don't know? Have you looked?
I haven't looked into the Lifetime movie, but I'll tell you the resource I did use. I read a book called A Beautiful Child, and it's by Matt Birkbeck.
It seems like I've heard of it, even though I have no idea about this case.
Yeah. Well, it's an older book, and he did really well writing it.
Okay.
And the reason why I was having... Well, we talked about that. You know how, like, when we're doing research for these cases and we retain so much information, we don't even know how to start it.
Yeah.
We don't even know how we should start this or anything. And that's what I was dealing with. So... I've decided that I'm just going to start this story and this case exactly how it was told to me. So when I first heard about this case was from a YouTube channel called Explore With Us. So you might want to check them out. They're pretty cool. This case starts in Forrest Park, Georgia.
Okay.
A 14-year-old Sharon Marshall enters Forrest Park High School with her father, Warren Marshall. They're enrolling in Forrest Park because Sharon is a exceptional student. Her father wanted her to go to the best school that they could find in the area. She wasn't like everybody else. This girl was so good at math. She had a 4.0 GPA already in mathematics.
So she was gifted?
She was very gifted.
Okay.
And not only that, she was absolutely beautiful too. Like she had the blonde hair, blue eyes.
Aww.
She was absolutely stunning. Now Sharon, she had went to several different high schools before even making it to Forrest Park.
Okay. Is this a public school?
It's a public school, yes.
Is it like a magnet school?
No.
Okay.
So, but this takes place in November of 1983, which this is the same year you were.
Yeah, it's like right before I was born.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is her, I want to say it's her freshman year. No, it's her sophomore year. So she's about 14 or 15 years old at the time. So anyways, she goes to Forrest Park. And the reason why her father really pushed her to go to Forrest Park was because they had different kind of programs, like vocational things for her to do. Because Sharon's all-time dream was to study astroscience. And she wanted to work for NASA.
Astrophysics?
Yeah, astrophysics, yeah. And she wanted to, she wanted to do the whole lady astronaut thing. And that was like her goal. Now, Sharon ends up befriending a girl named Jennifer Fisher. Jennifer, she's an average student. She's just kind of one of those people that really, she was a bright girl too, but she just wasn't good at school. And, sometimes that happens. Some people just aren't good at school. And so she was really just kind of, trying to scrape by to get out and graduate.
Right.
So instantly, Jennifer and Sharon, they click and they become best friends. Jennifer and Sharon end up going on this camping trip with their class. And for that whole week, they got really close. And when camp ended for the week, they wanted to exchange numbers. Well, Jennifer wanted Sharon's number, and Sharon told her, I'm not allowed to give my number out to other people. Jennifer was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but here's my number. Why don't you take it and you can call me? And she was like, please call me.
Okay.
Jennifer went home and she waited, and she waited, and Sharon never called. So back then, she went through the yellow pages that's how you found people, was through the yellow pages.
Phone book, yeah.
Yeah. And so she went through the
Actually, it would be the white pages if you're looking for a resident.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe you're too young for that. But yeah, yellow pages was business and white pages were for residential.
Well, my bad. Okay, that's why I'm glad you're here, because I'm
old.
remember. No, I remember having phone books when I was younger, but I don't know. This was back
You
whenever
never had to actually use them.
Do what?
You never had to actually use one?
No.
Okay.
No, not really. I haven't.
I used to like look up weird names, and there are actually people with the last name Loser, which I thought was funny. Yeah, the last time I looked at their phone book, the last time I was doing that, there were like 3 people in the phone book named Loser, and it was like John Loser the first, John Loser the second, John Loser the third, or something like that.
Did you find anybody called Ben Dover?
I don't know. I didn't look. I should have. And now I don't even know if they come out with phone books anymore. I don't even know. Because, back then, like, everybody got a phone book. Like, once a year,
they still deliver phone books.
Because, do they?
Yeah, because my office where I work,
okay.
They still deliver me phone books every year.
All right. Well, then you can look that up.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have white pages anymore. Because not that many people have landlines.
These are definitely yellow page, what they deliver over here. So it's mostly businesses. And I'm pretty sure it's local stuff.
And, I mean, that was like a huge privacy security risk. I don't think people really realized it at the time, but if somebody was trying to stalk you and you didn't want them to know anything about you, they could just look you up in the phone book and find your name, number, and address. So I don't know if they do it anymore. Maybe they do. But
I have no idea.
Like I said, not many people have landlines.
Everybody
anymore.
has cell phones now.
Yeah.
So you can look stuff up from there. But
anywho.
Yeah, anyways, she looked through the phone book and she could not find Marshall. Well, she realized she wasn't for sure what her father's name was. So she didn't know who to call. So she ended up going through like some school paperwork and she found that Warren, which is Sharon's dad, had listed their home phone number in some of this information. So that's how she got the number. She's being a little
stalkerish at this point. How's she?
I mean, I guess
get a hold of that.
They don't really give a whole lot of big backstory on Jennifer. As far as that's concerned, as far as her making other friends, I just know that she struggled in school a lot. And
she's on my level. Like I could find anybody pretty much.
She on that stalker FBI shit.
Yeah, she's on my level of stalker.
And this was before Facebook. So anyways, she calls Sharon at her home phone number and a man answers and she asked for Sharon and then Sharon got on the phone and she asked who this was and she was like it was Jennifer and Jennifer was like, Sharon, why haven't you called me? I've been waiting on you to call.
Yeah.
And Sharon was immediately just like, how did you get my phone number?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She was like, well, it was in, the parent, whatever it is she found.
Okay, so there was like a parent contact list.
Yes.
There was like a school phone.
Yeah.
Log. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that makes sense. I thought she meant she was like going through the file cabinet. The school.
Well, all of a sudden Sharon was like, well, keep in mind, I don't think I mentioned this before. They were on summer vacation. They were doing a school trip, but it was like for the school. They were on summer vacation.
Okay.
So yes, she got it from like some school parent contact information that she had gotten from the camp. But Sharon immediately was like, you cannot call here. You can't call here. All you heard was a man yelling in the background. You hear her say, Daddy, I'm sorry. And then she just hangs up the phone.
Oh, wow.
And Jennifer was taken aback by this because now she felt terrible.
Because she had no idea.
She had no idea that was the reason why.
It makes you wonder what Warren was up to. What
we're
going to
get to that. We're going to get to that. That's
why
I started on the story at this place.
Okay.
So anyways, about 5 minutes later, Sharon calls Jennifer back. And she's just like, oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer. You just caught me off guard. And she was just fine. And they literally talked for hours about boys and just regular teenage girl stuff. So nothing really came of that at that point. So as time went on, the girls started back to school for the autumn semester. And they had gotten really close. Sharon had actually invited Jennifer to stay at her house. Well, her parents were well-to-do. I'm not going to say they were wealthy, but they were well-to-do. Okay. Her parents' name were Sue and Joel Fisher. Now, Sue was a stay-at-home mom. She was a homemaker. And Joel was a self-employed HVAC guy. Like, he worked on AC conditioners and heater,
Right.
So, I mean, he made a pretty decent living, and they lived in an exceptionally well-to-do neighborhood as well. They were kind of like, Jennifer, we don't really know about that. So, maybe she can come over here and spend the night. What?
I don't know. It just kills me when parents are like that. And I understand being protective of your kids. And I can understand them saying, okay, well, I need to meet the the parents, I need to talk to them or whatever. But when you assume that like your home is better than somebody else's, like, oh, well, they can come over here because their parents should just let this child come to our house, but we're not going to let you go over there. I just hate when people act like that.
Well, and we're actually...
for no reason. I mean, if there's a reason, you know.
We're actually going to also talk about that, too, about kind of how Jennifer's family could have probably stopped some things that were going to happen.
Okay.
So, anyways, Sharon was never really very forthcoming or open about her past with Jennifer. Now, of course, like, she tells them that she's being raised by a single father. It's just her and her dad, Warren.
This is Sharon, right? Okay.
Yes,
Sharon and Warren.
Sharon. Joel and Sue decide that, maybe we should invite Sharon over for her to come spend the night.
Okay. Sharon's
father agreed to let her come and spend the night one Friday night. So he drives her over to the Fisher's house. Now, this is, like I said, it's a nice neighborhood. So Warren and Sharon, they come pulling up in this white Ford truck. From what I understand, it's a little beat up or whatever.
Okay.
Warren automatically, he comes in and they meet Sharon and they meet Warren. And Warren just all of a sudden, he's just like, these are really nice houses out here. I'm a painter. I'm the best painter in town. Here's my card. Why don't you see if anybody needs a painting job because I'm your man.
Okay.
Like, he's over there.
Trying to sell himself.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's doing. So Joel really is not really sure how he thinks of this man. Off rip, he feels like that he's not really getting a good vibe off this guy. He's just kind of like about himself and he's really cocky. That's what they say. He's kind of arrogant and that's how he kind of talks. And they ask, where is Sharon's mother? He's like, well, she died when Sharon was 7 in a hit and run accident. And it's just been me and her ever since. And he kind of tries to get people's sympathy off of that. Like, I'm doing the best I can as a single dad and, with a teenage daughter and da-da-da-da. So he finally leaves. That was, from what they explained in the book, it was kind of an awkward exchange.
Yeah.
With them. But, the girls, they ended up having a really good time. The Fishers really enjoyed Sharon because Sharon kind of pushed Jennifer to do better in school because she was a good student.
Okay.
So they felt she was a good influence on her. The next day on Saturday, Warren comes to pick his daughter up at the Fisher home. And all of a sudden, he just kind of lets himself in.
Oh.
And he approaches Joel and he's like, hey, Joel, have you managed to find me anybody yet? Talking about his, painter. He's like, well,
no.
It's the next day. Like, you just gave me your card yesterday. No, I haven't found anybody.
Let me just say, that's like my pet peeve. I mean, unless it's you or like a really close family member or, I've had some friends that were that close that I was cool with them letting themselves in. Like, do not just walk in somebody's house. I don't care if I have your child in there or not. Knock on the door. Like, if I don't respond or you see me looking out the window and I'm not answering the door and your child's in my house, then maybe you can go to the next step. But do not just walk in my house.
Yeah, that's a thing with me, too.
I'm instantly going to think bad of you. You just don't walk in people's houses. And I teach my kids that, too. Because, like, when they were little, they try to just run up and open somebody's door. Like, don't do that. We knock, we ring the doorbell, we wait.
Right. And I've always, my kids do that well because it's
just really rude and invasion
of privacy. Mom and dad. Because they were really big on not just showing up either. Have you noticed that too? Like, call before you come.
Yeah. There are a few people that I'm cool with them just showing up, and then others, But I don't know. I've had some close friends that when they're in my area, they drop by, and I'm always kind of appreciative of that they thought of me, and I'm always happy to see them. So I don't mind that much. It just depends on who you are.
Exactly. And I'm like, I feel the same way with you. You can always come by. Like, you don't have to knock on my door to come in.
But I mean, like Mom was all about that. It's like, even when I moved out of her house, when I came back, I was like ringing the doorbell and knocking, and she told me like, this will always be your home, so you can always just walk in.
Yeah.
But I mean, I made sure that once I was no longer residing there, that I knocked and rang the doorbell because that had been instilled in me.
Yeah.
Early on.
So he just comes in and Joel's just like, no, I haven't found anybody. You know, it's just like not even 24 hours since you gave me your card.
Get a billboard.
So,
Take
put it
out
on
an
the
ad.
side of the bus, the city bus. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah, like I'm not your advertisement.
So, of course, Sharon and Jennifer, they're still getting close. They're like the best of friends. And, well, one day, the Fisher family, Joel, Sue, and Jennifer, they were out grocery shopping or something. This was like another Saturday. They were out. Well, they come back. They pull up to their driveway, and they notice there's Warren Marshall's Ford truck sitting in their driveway when they pull up.
Okay.
And
they're not home. He just showed up over there.
Yes.
And he's,
listen.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen. Now this is like 2 weeks after the
sleepover.
The sleepover.
Okay.
And they're like, that's weird. They go to the front door. They realize the front door is unlocked, and they know that they close their garage. They lock their doors. Everything. They come in, and Warren Marshall is sleeping on their couch.
What the fuck?
And Sharon's just sitting there in the recliner, just kind of. Doesn't really know what
weird.
to do with herself. Yeah, like
my dad just brought me over here.
So they come in and they know for a fact they're just like, this is really weird. We know we locked up, and then there's this man laying on my couch, and then all of a sudden he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have really really bad back problems," and
this was the only place that you could sleep.
I guess so. So anyway, so they're just like, what can we owe this visit to?
Oh, I would have lost my shit. I wouldn't have even been that cool about it.
Apparently
you need to get the fuck out of my house.
Well, he was there because he wanted to ask Joel for a loan of
holy shit,
$300. So that he said he really tried to sell this guy something. He said, I got this really big job coming up and I need money for materials. I promise it's an investment. I'll pay you back. And,
he's not shy, is he?
He's not, because he's an arrogant motherfucker.
Okay.
So Joel is immediately just he's wowed by this at the nerve, I guess.
Yeah.
And he politely, which politely is better than I would have done, but
right.
he politely turned him down. He was just like, no. He's like, I can't, no.
Yeah.
Now, I guess they almost felt a little bad for it because they did really like Sharon.
Yeah.
They thought she was a really great girl.
Yeah.
And, so as soon as that happened, he was just kind of like, come on then, Sharon, let's go. So they left. They kind of realized that they really just don't like Sharon's dad. Okay?
Yeah.
But
one can't blame them.
But they decide that they're gonna kind of put up with him, because
of the girls, their friendship, and okay.
Jennifer's father, Joel, and her mother, they decide that they really do not want Jennifer going over there because they're really not sure about.
Yeah, I can't blame it. Yeah, I can't blame them at that point.
But for some reason or another, they decide that they were going to give it a chance, and they did allow Jennifer to go spend the night over there.
And that's tough. I mean, I know as a parent, and I have a teenage girl. I mean, that's really tough because they want to so badly, and it's hard.
Well, growing up, I've had friends that my mom really, that mom didn't really care for. She really didn't care for the parent. And honestly, I mean, Mom was kind of right. I mean, because when we turned adults, it was completely.
As a parent, but then at the same time, you're trying to give people the benefit of a doubt, and you're like, well, maybe they're not, horrible people just because I don't particularly care for them.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they're going to mistreat my child or anything like that. So, yeah, that's tough.
Well, I don't think at this point they got any kind of vibes like that. I think they just thought he was an arrogant asshole.
Yeah. But at this point, they're teenage girls. I mean, they're like, what, 14, 15 years old? They're getting to the point where they're going to do almost whatever they want anyway.
And they don't really care about, you don't really think about how your parents really are at that age. And,
and they're getting to the point where they're almost driving, so they can just go wherever. You're not even going to know where they're at. So,
right.
Yeah.
So Joel and Sue, they had a change of heart, and they agreed to allow Jennifer to spend the night with Sharon at her home. She lived on the opposite side of Forrest Park, Georgia. They pull up, and so Sue's the one that's actually taken Sue is the one that's actually taken Jennifer to the Marshall house. So she's driving through this neighborhood, and she sees all these kind of boarded up houses, trash on the street.
Okay.
And then they finally get to the Marshall house, and it's just a really kind of tiny, kind of shack kind of house, and it's got like the grass is just growing up so damn high.
Like my house.
Yeah, like it's the house on the corner at the end.
Like my house. Last house on the left.
That's the yard that everybody calls codes on, and I guess Sue was kind of scared of the neighborhood because, you know, she sounds like a bougie bitch.
Yeah.
So, like, she pretty much just, like, kicks Jennifer out, was just like,
she just like,
get the fuck out of here. Like, damn,
your
you weren't even
child.
going to make sure that she was cool. Like,
yeah. I mean, I would want to, like, kind of go to the doorstep and at least peek inside.
That woman was scared.
Okay.
She enters the house, and it's a really small house. It's not, like, filthy or anything like that. It's just really tiny.
Okay.
She notices that they don't have doors. Like, they don't really have, like...
interior doors, like, to the rooms.
So they have to actually put sheets over the door. So
Okay.
Warren had a room, and then Sharon had her room.
Okay.
So...
I can't say nothing. We got a room like that.
Well, yeah.
Because, you know, we converted our den into a bedroom.
Well,
and so we don't have a door yet. So
our recording studio is is my pantry.
Yeah.
So now I use closet doors.
So we're not, like, any better than these people.
Yeah, we're really not.
And, I mean, you can't hate on them for being poor. I mean, I've been poor. I've lived in, you know this. You know I've lived in, like, a rough neighborhood before.
Oh, I remember that first house
you remember my house. Yeah. You
Springfield.
remember that. So, I mean, I've moved up a little bit. Not a lot. But
well, I'm
but,
poor right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we, you know, we're not hating on him for being poor.
No, hell no. I mean, if you got a roof over your head and, you know,
you're doing
got
the best you
running
can.
water and some electricity, you're good. I'm fine. My apartment's extremely small, so I can't really say much. But anywho, so Sharon kind of gives Jennifer just the small tour of the house, and you know, she shows her like the living room and the kitchen, and then she was like, "This is my dad's room." She pulls the sheets, and she's like, "We can never go in there." Jennifer remembers seeing like a real big stack of like videotapes.
Oh, he had an
right
extensive porn collection. Is that what we're getting at?
We'll get back to that. That's going to be discussed a little bit more in part 2. Okay. So I'm just, you know,
I just got to know, was
it
porn or was it like his Disney collection or?
Well, right now we'll just say it's his Disney collection.
Oh, okay. Well, we used to have one of those.
Not his kind.
Okay.
So she was just like, yeah, don't ever go in there. To Jennifer, like, Warren he's a very well-spoken guy. He's arrogant, but he's nice. You know, he's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. So he comes in, he's like, all right, girls, I'm going to take you guys out to dinner. So let's go. They're just like, you know, they're really excited about it. So they get up in the truck and they go to have dinner. On the way to dinner, he had made the comment about asking Jennifer if she had a boyfriend. And Jennifer was just like, no, I don't have one of those. And he was just like, well, you're a very good-looking girl. You should be able to. Well, Jennifer didn't take it any, like, the wrong way,
I guess. It depends on how you say it. Because, I mean, I don't have a problem telling one of my daughter's friends, like, you're a really pretty girl or whatever. But, of course, I'm a woman. But, yeah, when you're alone with a guy...
This is your friend's single dad.
Comments,
yeah.
This is giving me vibes of, like, American Beauty. Have you ever seen that movie? Kevin Spacey.
I know what you're talking about, but I've never.
Where he becomes like obsessed with his daughter's
where he
friend.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
this is
no,
reminding me of
that's
that.
actually not where that's going. But we'll see.
Okay,
But
I'm glad. But I mean, we'll see.
But so he's like, you know, you're an exceptionally pretty girl. You know, you should not have a problem. He would just made like really not so gentleman-like comments to her, but at the time, you know, she's a 14, 15-year-old girl. She's kind of soaking that in a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
but there are just some real creeps in the world. I mean, when I was that age, I would have men say stuff like that to me, grown men. And
this is the 80s, so I'm sure it happened a lot, and that happened to me in the 90s too. So I mean,
there are a lot of creeps out there.
People definitely aren't. People were not as aware back then as they are now when it comes to that. I think. So, anyways, they go to dinner, and Warren decides that wants to take them out dancing. He asked them if they want to go dancing.
Dancing, like square dancing?
Like a club dancing, like a dance club, like an adult dance club.
Okay.
So Sharon is, you know, she's like, yeah, we can do that. Sharon's been plenty of times. Jennifer, she's never been. She lives in a family.
Right.
She's
Okay.
never really been to a nightclub because, she's like 14 or 15.
Yeah, most 14-year-olds have not been to a nightclub.
So she was excited. She was extremely excited about it. She felt like she was like, really grown up. And he's like, all right, I'm going to take you girls back to the house and let you get dolled up so I can take you guys down there.
Okay.
So, of course, Jennifer, she's talking about, what she could wear and all this other stuff, what she's, how she's going to do her makeup, because I think she had pictured that this was going to be just like a really fun party type of thing.
Yeah.
So her and Sharon they go back to the house and they get dressed, and he takes them to a local kind of dance club down wherever it is that they live, and he just drops them off. Like, he doesn't.
What?
Yeah, he just drops them off. Like, he literally goes over there, he talks to the bouncer at the door, and they let the girls in. And Jennifer asks him, "You're not going to stay with us?" And he's like, "Oh no, honey, you guys got this. I'll be back to pick you up around like 2:00.
What? 2:00?
Yeah. So
Holy shit.
So Sharon, so now Jennifer's kind of like, she's kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And Sharon's done this plenty of times. So Sharon just goes in and she's just like, come on, let's just start dancing. So she just starts dancing. And really what it turned into was, it was pretty much a bunch of old perverts there.
Oh,
it wasn't
wow.
what she expected.
Okay, she was expecting people like her age or
a
college
little bit
age
older,
or something like that. And they're a bunch of just creepy old men.
Yeah. But so Sharon's like, hey, don't worry about it. Me and you are just going to have a good time.
That
We're going to
girl
dance.
should have found a payphone and called her mom, called her parents, and got the hell up out of there and taken Sharon with her. But anyway, that's my opinion. Go ahead.
Well, I absolutely agree with you, but this is a different time. And I honestly, I think Jennifer, she really wasn't seeing the danger in it, So, of course, we're parents, we see the danger in it. But when you're a 14-year-old girl, I mean...
Yeah, okay.
They ended up having a decent night. Her and Sharon just ended up dancing together.
So nothing bad nothing bad happened.
Nothing bad happened at the club.
Crossed the line with them or anything?
No,
okay.
They tried to dance with them several times, and they told them no, and everything was fine.
Sometimes it could be fun partying with old men. Because sometimes they're just cool.
Yeah, they are.
There have been plenty of times that I've gone to a local restaurant or bar and just sat at, it's been a while, but I've just sat at the bar just going to have a drink, pay for it myself. And some old guy will buy my drinks if I'll just talk to him.
Yeah.
Never really, steps outside, crosses a line or anything. He just wants somebody to talk to.
Yeah. That's how a lot of older men want. They just
sometimes
want,
it can be fun, but still, they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. Not at 14 or 15 years old. So they end up, Warren comes and picks them up and he takes them home. So the girls, they go to Sharon's room and they pull the sheet over the door. They're about to get into their night clothes, so they begin to undress. And Jennifer notices really sexual lingerie in Sharon's drawer.
Okay, so this 14-year-old girl.
And thongs.
So this isn't pink brand,
no,
sports bras,
no,
my daughter.
This is some
lacy
hustler shit.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And she asks her, oh, do you wear these? She's like, yeah, sometimes my dad buys them, lets me buy them, and he buys them for me.
What the fuck?
So, but in Jennifer's mind, she's just like, God, you got the coolest dad, because my parents would never let me wear that.
And I can only sympathize with a single father when your daughter reaches that post-puberty age, and they need bras and they need underwear, and you have to supply that. It's one thing when you have a mother that can do it. But I can only imagine. But I would think a man, if you're a single father and you got to buy your daughter some panties, you would go get the pack of panties, the granny panties. Okay, what size do you wear? You would go buy that with a bunch of other shit so it didn't look weird. And that's what your daughter would wear until she bought her own shit.
I feel like our dad would have not. Yeah, he would.
Hell no.
He would never.
But of course, we had our mom. Your mom takes care of that.
Yeah.
But either that or your dad would just give you some money or drop you off at Target. Okay, go get
because he don't want to have no part of that shit.
Go get your bras, go get your panties, go get what you need. I don't need to see it. Just here's $50. Go.
Yeah.
But this man is going and picking out lingerie for his daughter.
She's allowing, and she's 14 or 15. So why are you wearing lingerie for one?
So she's not picking this stuff
Why
out
are
like,
you
"Hey,
wearing
Dad, can I
business?
please have this?"
He's
like
buying
he's
it
going
for
and getting
her.
it for her. Okay. Ugh.
Jennifer's like, "Yeah, you got like the coolest dad ever."
Fuck no, she doesn't. Her dad-
So,
okay, but she's young. She's naive. I get it.
so after that, Jennifer ends up going home the next day, and Jennifer's really close with her mom, so I think she told her mom what she did, and her mom immediately was like,
shit.
"You are not going back over there." But she was like, "You know what? Sharon's more than welcome to come over here, but I do not want you over there."
See, at that point, I don't blame her for saying, "Okay, she can come here, but you can't go there." It was just that initial, like, you didn't even know these people, and you assume that you're better than them or something. But I get it now.
And she was like that at first because they really didn't know what they thought. And it might have been something like, hey, this is a girl with her dad. There's no other female around type thing.
And I will be perfectly honest. Like, I have felt that way. And I know it's wrong. And I know it's not cool. And I know that just because somebody's a single dad doesn't mean that they're a pervert or... Right. But, my daughter came to me one time and was like, "Hey, can I go with so-and-so to her dad's house?" And it took me a minute. I was like, so she just like lives with her dad. And I mean, I was a little,
her dad married,
I was a little worried about it because, I watch all this true crime shit. Yeah. So I know the kind of shit that goes down, but I don't want to just judge the man. And then even my husband said something about it. And I was like, well, that would be the same thing as, because he has 2 daughters. And even though he's married to me, it'd be the same thing as if your daughters wanted to bring somebody home.
Right.
Like we wouldn't do anything to those kids. So, I mean, I can't assume that this guy's going to harm my daughter. Yeah.
It's just, it's a trust thing with us. I mean, it is. And it's really because we have studied these cases where these things happen, and we walk on eggshells with it with our kids.
And to be honest, I let my daughter go, but the reason I did, and I felt 10 times better when she mentioned the stepmother. Because I didn't even know there was a stepmother. That's why I was
going to ask, is he married?
Yeah, I didn't know there was a stepmother. And she just kept saying her dad, or whatever. And I'm like, and then she mentioned her stepmother. I was like, oh, she has a stepmom. Okay. I just felt better with a female being there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But we should also know that females are fucked up too, though.
They are, but statistically, I mean, when you look at it, I don't know. And like I said, maybe that's like being a stereotyping someone but when it's your kids, you tend to follow your gut. You become a little paranoid about those kind of things. I don't hate men.
Are you sure?
I'm not hating on single dads. I'm not saying that your daughter should not have friends over. I'm definitely not saying that at all.
Hey, look, I commend any man that can raise a child without the mom. Like, I commend that shit.
Kind of sexist too, because women do it all the time.
I commend that. I'm living proof of that. Yeah, I know. So it's but I really commend a man
parent,
too.
Yeah,
any single parent, even a person that didn't even have the child that's raising the child. I mean, I commend anybody that's raising a child because this shit is not for the faint of heart.
Right.
Okay, so we did get off track there. Now we're back on it. All right. Okay, so fast forward a little bit. Now we're in 1986. Now the girls are in their senior year of high school. And they're still close, but they start to fade away a little bit more. Jennifer started seeing a boy, and Sharon started seeing another boy, that type of thing.
Right.
As time progressed, they started noticing that Sharon was kind of gaining a little weight. Like she was getting a little pooch in her stomach, and people would ask her, are you okay? Like basically being rude, asking her if she's pregnant, and she's like, no, I'm not pregnant. I'm just eating a lot, and I've just been stressed out. Whatever excuse she was making up. Well, finally, the teachers really are thinking that maybe she might be pregnant, and so they take her into the office, and they literally ask her, like, listen, are you pregnant? And she finally confesses that she is, and that she's due in July.
Okay.
Her father, she didn't really talk about like her father finding out or anything like that, but she ends up telling Jennifer about it, and Jennifer was really shocked. And then Jennifer asked her who the father was, and she said it was this guy named Curtis Flanoy, which was a guy that she was dating. Yeah, that's the boyfriend. So at this point, Sharon doesn't talk about her home life to anybody. She's very quiet about it.
Can't really blame her.
No, and you can kind of tell she's in a bad home situation.
Yeah.
Just with everything around her. And because her father's super controlling, and he has to control everything.
A creep.
Yeah, and a perv. So she ends up running away with Curtis. They try to get out of town.
Okay.
Warren catches them before they even get out of Georgia. And pretty much he told Curtis, I don't even know why you're here. You're not even the child's father.
What the fuck?
And
so, I mean, had her and Curtis been having sex?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. Continue.
It's going to come all into play. So, naturally, he makes her come back home, and he tells Curtis that he'll, fuck off.
Oh.
And so in this moment, or at this time, Warren decides it's time to go. They need to move. They need to up and move.
They're skipping town.
They're skipping town. Sharon wants to tell Jennifer, and she wants to give her that last goodbye.
Aww.
So she tells Jennifer that her and her dad are going to be moving to Mesa, Arizona. And the reason why they're moving is because her father, Warren, has really bad arthritis in his back, and he needs to go there for the climate change. It'll be better on his back.
I've heard that. Yeah, it's better than the Southeast.
Right. So they pick up and they move. Well, in this time, Sharon's writing Jennifer, and Sharon ends up giving birth to a beautiful baby boy in Mesa, Arizona. And she ends up putting him up for adoption to a couple from Texas that they're both doctors and they couldn't have children.
Okay.
So that she felt really good about it, that she was able to give the
her
baby
child a good home life that she didn't have. Okay.
And she writes to Jennifer about this, and then she tells Jennifer, I want to come visit. I want to come visit you. So, of course, Jennifer is like, yeah, come on, So Sharon takes a plane out to Jennifer's house back in Georgia. And now keep in mind,
her dad's just cool with this?
Yeah, she just lets her go. So the whole time that she's over there, now keep in mind, this is 2 weeks after she had just had this baby.
And at this point, she's like graduated high school and she's of legal age. I mean, she's an adult.
She's 17. And
but close, and back in the 80s. I mean,
so she never finished high school. And she had actually gotten accepted into a really big college, but she got pregnant.
Dad made her move.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So she begins to tell her that she'll be working at a bar down in Arizona, and she's got this all set out. But when she gets to, so the Fishers pick her up from the airport, and she has a really good time, and she stays with the Fishers. But Sharon pulls Sue aside.
This is the mom.
This is the mother of Jennifer.
Okay.
She pulls Sue aside and asked her if there was any way that she could come live with them.
Oh, I hope she said yes. Did she say yes?
She said no.
Oh my God. Why?
She said no, it's not. And she explained that it's not because they did not want her there. It's because they know that her father would miss her. And that was not up to them to take her away from her father.
But I mean, at that point, she's an adult, and she obviously.
Well, when you're at that time, if you're 16, 17 years old, you're still, Well,
I guess you're still legally okay. I mean, I guess I understand. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people move away from home at 17, especially in that time. You know what I mean? So she really wanted to come back to Georgia, and she wanted to start a new life.
I think I was forgetting that she was still technically a minor. Because if you recall, I went through a similar situation, and I was like the same way, like, no, can't.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But I guess she didn't know everything that was going on.
She didn't at this time. Okay. And I will tell you that, I don't know this for a fact, but I think when we talk about the outcome of this, I'm pretty sure they felt really bad. And they wish they had chose differently. But it wasn't that they didn't mind having Sharon. They loved Sharon there. It was the fact that they didn't want to have to deal with Warren, pretty much.
True. And I don't know, maybe things were a little more lax back then. But I know now you can't just take in somebody's kid.
You can't. Legally, there's like a whole legal process you have to do now.
Yeah.
And,
But I mean, back then, because, I mean, I lived through the 80s partially. It seems like, at 16, you pretty much do what you want. I mean, and people used to throw their kids out sometimes at that age.
At 16, yeah.
And they had to find something. So, yeah. All right, anyway.
That was really hard for Sue to tell her no, but she explained it to her, and then automatically Sharon, she seemed like she was really kind of upset, but then she told her, you know what, you're right, I really got to take care of my dad. There's nobody else there for him. So and then she apologized for even asking. And so the next day they take Sharon to the airport and they send her back to Arizona. About a year later, now keep in mind the communication between Jennifer and Sharon has been very non-existent, really, because Sharon and Warren are moving all over the damn place. So later on, Jennifer gets a call from Sharon and she's in South Carolina. And she asked Jennifer to come visit her in South Carolina. And Jennifer was like, well, basically she told her no. Like her parents would never let her go.
So, okay, so she's in South Carolina's dad with her?
Yes.
Okay.
She tells her no, that her parents never really would go for that. And then all of a sudden Sharon just hangs up on her.
Seems like she was just desperately trying to.
Well, no, here's the thing. She gets a call right back after she gets hung up on, and it's Warren. And he's like, what kind of fucking friend are you to not even come visit your friend? That's just terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself. And then just hangs up on her. I feel like he was trying to draw her in.
Yeah.
He was trying to get her there.
Yeah.
I think that was him trying to have Sharon, because she even said that Sharon didn't sound like, she really wanted her to come.
For her, it was more like for her dad. Oh my God. Let me get on my soapbox for just a second here. Sometimes when I hear about this crazy shit, I just want to tell my kids about it. I mean, but I don't, because I kind of want to protect them from that still at this point. I don't want to tell them about all these god awful things, but I kind of want to make them see that their life is not so damn bad just because they share a room with somebody, just because our dryer sounds like it's about to explode. And just because I forgot their goddamn Takis when I went to the store.
They're Takis.
Takis, sorry. When I went to the store does not mean that their life is horrible. Some people have just shitty lives from the very beginning. And yeah. Anyway, okay, stepping off soapbox.
Well,
cool.
I'm going to step on that and say I agree with you, because literally I only have one, and all I do is make him take out the trash, and you would think that somebody needs to call DCS on me. And I'll be honest with you, during quarantine, I was about to call DCS on my damn self.
Come get him.
I'm like, come get these kids.
Yeah.
But anywho, so that's kind of where everything kind of ended off with Jennifer and Sharon. After that, she didn't hear much from her on the phone. I know that they wrote from time to time, and she would get different postcards from where she had moved. So after South Carolina, after Arizona, she ends up becoming a dancer. So they end up moving down to Tampa, Florida, down in 1989. I'm sorry, Pinellas County, Florida?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is that Tampa?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I've heard of Pinellas County.
Yes. So that's where they ended up moving to, and she ends up becoming a stripper. And so while she's down there, she ends up getting pregnant again. And she gives birth to a baby boy, and she names him Michael Anthony Hughes. Now, you're wondering why his last name's Hughes. Well, I'm going to tell you.
Why do I care that his last name's Hughes?
When they moved down to Florida, they ended up changing their names.
Okay.
Warren changed his name to Clarence Hughes, and Sharon changed her name to Tanya. And they end up getting married.
Hell? What the fuck? Holy shit. This is just so fucked. Why doesn't this girl just run? I know why she doesn't. But
at this point, I
wish she would.
Well, Tanya's maiden name is Tanya Tadlock. I believe that's what it was. Tanya Tadlock. They actually don't even end up getting married until they moved to Oklahoma, but I just thought I'd throw that out there because they ended up giving the baby his last name. So
I really hate this guy.
She gave birth to him.
He needs to get hit by a truck.
She gave birth to him on March the 21st, 1988. And honestly, everybody said that she was a great mother. She really loved that little boy. Honestly, that's who she clung to because she was in a very, very toxic situation.
That's beyond toxic.
Oh, yeah, that's beyond.
Toxic is like your mom saying you're getting a little chunky. This is like on another level. And I swear to God, next time my daughter starts complaining about something, you know how she gets sometimes, I'm going to be like, at least I'm not molesting your friends. I mean, I'm just going to throw some shit out there like that.
Don't do that. God, don't do that.
When she complains about my minivan, remember how she got on the whole rant about the van? Like, she wants me to go out and buy, like, a newer model vehicle because my headlighter's coming down.
Yes.
And I'm like, look, my van's paid for. It's well maintained. It still runs and drives. We don't really need another car payment right now, so I think I'm going to stick with this. And she just like,
oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. And I just want to be like, well, at least I'm not trying to scoop up and molest your friends. At least when I pick up your friends for cheerleading, like they're going to cheerleading and that's all I'm going to do with them. I mean...
Well, there is so much more to the story, and the twist and unsettling, like, you know, that unsettling feeling you're getting right now?
Yeah.
Oh, it gets worse. But
how can it get worse?
It's not going to get worse today because we're out of time.
Okay.
So, next week, we will talk about...
Does he get hit by a truck?
Unfortunately not.
I really wish he would just get hit by a truck.
Unfortunately not, but we're going to get into the actual crimes next episode. I just wanted to give you a little backstory on Sharon Marshall and her dad/husband. So, but there's at the end of this, you'll see that a lot of things, like, this is just it's a whole clusterfuck. That's what it is. So, but you'll understand it when you get to the end. So,
okay, hopefully so.
Anyways,
I don't think I'll ever understand this, but yeah, hopefully I get, grasp what's going on.
Yes, it's hard. It's very hard. So this is why we had to make it a 2-parter.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys coming to listen, and we love y'all. And I guess we need to sponsor ourselves.
Yeah, hit us up on Facebook at
www.facebook.com/TC Down Yonder.
Check us out on Instagram.
TC_Down Yonder.
Send us an email at
tcdownyonder@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we're always open to case suggestions. Please. And as well as if you have any, like, creepy or cool stories you want to tell, like, submit them. We'll read them.
Or that happened to you. Hell yeah. That happened to you.
Or if you have any information about any of the cases that we've covered.
Or if we said something wrong. Or,
if you want to tell us, like, about our foul language and
tell us how shitty we are or how shitty our audio is. We need to watch our
mouths and all that. Yeah,
we're good for that.
Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, some news is good news, I guess. I don't know.
We have foul mouths. It happens. We love you, Dad.
And we've and we started doing a disclaimer, and we're rated E, so you know what you're getting into. But if you have a problem, you want to tell us about it, sure, cool, we'll listen. I'm a good listener. Anyway, and now we are available on nearly all streaming platforms
and YouTube.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel as well. Do you remember how they can get to that?
Just go to YouTube and type in TC Down Yonder.
Yeah, just search for us.
Yeah, okay. And please subscribe to us because every episode we put out, we're going to put out on there as well.
And don't forget, for our Apple users, please
Right.
Check us out on Apple Podcasts and rate. Even if you listen to Spotify, because I have an iPhone, but I typically like Spotify.
Right.
But I still go on Apple and rate my favorite podcast. So that's very helpful to us. So if you will take some time to do that for us, we'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we haven't, like, you know how we were talking about we were going to go through our Instagram and pick out the ones that we like?
I haven't. Well, see, I've been researching for our newest
cases
one,
coming up, yeah.
And and I've been trying to catch up on some of my favorite podcasts here and there. So I really have not been able to, like, look into new stuff. But I plan to.
Yeah.
So we can start giving our shout outs again.
Oh, and one podcast which they're not, they're pretty well out there, but that helped me get some of the information that I needed for this case today was True Crime Brewery. So maybe, give them a listen. But
yeah, check them. I think they do like beer suggestions.
Yeah, they do. They tell a good story for sure. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got, I believe.
All right, so that's it, folks.
All right, and we'll see you next week.
That's all, folks.
We'll see y'all. I was about to say, see you tomorrow, but we'll see you next week for part 2 of this clusterfuck. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.